Live from the House of LeMay Makeup and Dressing Room.
Here comes Amber. Stop what you're doing. Here comes Amber. She's just doing what she can. Here comes Amber. Cue the spotlight. Here comes Amber with 2 drinks in her hand. The matriarch of fashion will sequence to her glasses. You can't look away. Ask her, does she do it? There's really nothing to it. She's got that feminine gaze. If you have a party or if you're feeling naughty, call up the House of LeMay. Here comes your favorite gal. Here comes your queen. Here comes the talk of the town. It's Amber Live tonight. The music starts to play and it's time for cabareting on Amber Live tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, please turn off all cell phones and get ready for your host, Amber LeMay.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining me on this beautiful evening. I don't know where it is, how it is where you are, but in Burlington, Vermont, it's a beautiful evening tonight. And it's a holiday weekend, so get out and enjoy it. But would you please do one thing? Wear a mask. I've been out and about and seeing people without a mask on. Please wear a mask. Oh, I'm so excited about tonight's show. Got some great guests. We got Francis Legge, who was on Masterchef and who's this, oh, he does some wonderful things with food. And we've got a cooking demonstration. That's why I brought my magical gay tag oven into the studio tonight to work up those treats that we're going to make. Yes. And then we're going to have a special guest, Francois Clemens. You may remember him as Officer Clemens from Mr. Rodgers' Neighborhood, but he's much, much more than that. I'm really looking forward to talking to him. And who knows, surprises. Ask me some questions in the comments. Tell me how you are. Tell me where you are. I'd love to know where my listeners and watchers are from. I already see Larry from Florida and Joshua from over in, I think it's Essex. So welcome. So come on in and tell me where you're from. So today is the Sunday of Memorial Day weekend. And normally, about this time, I'd be pretty tired because Lucy Bell and I would be, we would have been volunteering at the annual Memorial Day marathon. Yes, it's the Vermont City Marathon, and we always go down and volunteer. Yep, rain or shine, we are down there. And today would have been the 31st Vermont City Marathon and Relay. It's a great day in Burlington where there's over 7,500 runners and 20,000 spectators. Yep, every Memorial Day weekend for the past 10, 11 years, we'd be at the corner of Church and Cherry Street directing traffic. Yes, we did. We worked it, man, because runners would come by us. The police were always checking me out, too. I think they liked me. Anyway, we'd be there to Cherry and Church Street, and they'd come running up the Church Street at mile 3 and then back down Church Street at mile 9. So we got them coming and going. And oh, my gosh, it was so much fun. But oh, what work it was. But we tried to dress up, patriotically. There's Lucy Bell. And it was so gratifying. There's a picture of us that was in the Free Press. Our picture is in the Free Press almost every year. But it was just so gratifying. They even used us to advertise it. Those are big posters that they put up outside the Hotel Vermont to advertise it. Like I said, we were there, rain or shine, boy. In some years, it was pretty nasty, but we were always out there. So I just want to say thank you. And then after the marathon, our job was done. We would go to Lunig's for brunch, and then we'd go down to the waterfront where there was a big party going on. They'd have a band playing. Yankee Pot Roast was the band, and we'd go down there and have a couple beers, and then we'd wander our way back home. But oh my God, was it a great day? And I'm just so sorry we couldn't be a part of it today. But they've rescheduled to October 25th. So if you're a runner, come on up to Burlington, Vermont on October 25th and be a part of, it's the largest marathon relay race in the country. Yeah. And it's been voted most scenic, most energetic volunteers. It's a great place. It's a great day to be in Burlington, Vermont. So if you're a runner, why don't you come on up? That'd be fun. We'd love to see you. All right. So, like I said, it's been rescheduled for October 25th. Let's keep our fingers crossed. All right. Good. So, like I said, we've got quite a show for you tonight. Well, let me back up. What did I do this past week? Oh, well, last Sunday, as you recall, Miss Richfield was on the show. Yes, and John Olson. It was all Minnesota. And we got a lot of nice comments about that. People didn't know a lot about Minnesota, but now they do. And Miss Richfield, 1981, she hosts Bingo Bonanza every Monday and Thursday night. And she had me on as part of her studio audience. She had 6 people from all over the world, and I was one of them. And that was so much fun. And you can go on Bingo Bonanza and check out Miss Richfield. I don't think she's doing it on the holiday. She takes holidays off, evidently. But on Thursday, she definitely will. And she's having a pajama party on Tuesday night. Miss Richfield, 1981. Great character, great person, and a lot of fun. So I hope you'll check her out. All right. So my first guest I met 10, 12, 13, 14 years ago. He came up to Winter's a Drag Ball. He was associated with Isis Vermouth. So, if he's associated with Isis Vermouth, he must be a character. And yes, he is. We've got a lot to talk about. He was a contestant on Masterchef. He was a guest on the show Chopped. He opened up his own donut store, and he's a filmmaker. He's got a lot going on. So I'd like to welcome to Amber Live, Mr. Francis Legge. Francis.
Hello.
Hello there. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are things in New York City today?
It's all right. It was a really nice day in New York City. My dogs are starting to bark, of course. As soon as
What kind of dog is it?
well, we have 2 miniature greyhounds.
Oh my God, real little greyhounds.
Yeah, 2 little ones. Yeah, they do that a lot. You were right with the impression.
So Francis, yes, we met many years ago when you came to Vermont for the Winter's a Drag Ball. That was fun. You were doing some 3D photography at the time, I recall.
Yeah, my 3D period, I like to call it. I tried to do some 3D music videos too, but nobody could watch them. It was a failure, but I still have them.
But you had a concept and you followed through. That was good. That was good. So, what were you doing before you went on MasterChef, and how'd you get on that show?
I was directing music videos for Sherry Vine and all the drag queens and all the downtown talent in New York City. It started with Caswell. I don't know if you know Caswell. The Poor. So I started with them years ago. My first video was Is It All Over My Face? And I was making a Mel Sharon documentary about the Paradise Garage at the same time. And they cross entwined. And then I suddenly was like, I can do music videos. So I did music videos. And then got caught up with Sherry Vine and then did all that kind of stuff. And then I got really bored of trying to make other people famous and all working with all these drag queens. So I got convinced, or my wife convinced me to audition for Masterchef. So lo and behold, and like 40,000 people auditioned. So I thought I had no chance at all whatsoever to be on the show. But we whittled our way down. I went to Hollywood, which was like the biggest dream ever. And then boom, I was standing in front of Gordon Ramsay. It was incredible.
So I believe like 4,000 people applied to be on that season.
40,000.
40,000.
40, as you would say, yes. 40.
And they chose you?
I was in shock. And there was 2 Francises, too. I was really worried. I was like, in the final 100, I'm like, what, there's 2 Francises?
Wow.
Which you don't
So, that was season 5, I believe.
Yes. Yeah.
And there was one episode that you said, I got this.
Yes, the donut challenge, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, there was a challenge where you had to make a dozen donuts and you had to make 3 flavors, but I decided to make 12 flavors. And I really shocked the pants off of all the judges. And then since that day, since that episode aired, I've been making donuts nonstop. So it's like 6 years ago now.
Wow, that is great. And so you didn't finish. How did you come in on that season? Where were you eliminated?
I would like to say I was on 12 episodes, but I came in at number 11.
That's fine.
In Drag Race, there's only 12 episodes. I would have won Drag Race.
Good for you, Francis. So we've all seen Gordon's TV image. Is he like that in person?
Yeah, he's the nicest person in the world, I tell you. Like, he has that image for a reason, but and like they really do play upon it. But he truly is the nicest person in the world with the amount of charity stuff he does, and he really will help you. And all these other shows where when he turns up to help you, if he's going to help you, he will help you. Like he wants to do everything he can to help you. But if you don't want to be helped, then you can bugger off.
So that's cool. That's cool that that is an act per se, or that's his TV persona. But yeah. I'm glad to hear that he's not quite like that. So what happened after you left that show?
Well, the phone started ringing for donuts. It was pretty intense. So for 6 years, I made donuts every single day, like basically 7 days a week.
Out of your kitchen? Out of your home kitchen?
No. I went into. I started with Gossip Coffee, which was a place in Astoria. It was just down the street, so I made donuts for them. And then when they sold, because they sold for really well because of my donuts, I guess, there was somebody was opening another shop, and they said to me, come make donuts. And there's Sugar and Water, which I've been working at. Bang, bang, and cue the picture.
Yes.
I've been working at for the past year and a half, 2 years. But unfortunately, because of the virus, the Chinese virus, it's not Chinese, the chirus. I'm surprised he didn't call it that.
Let me write that down.
Right, exactly, the chirus. No, because of that, we've been shut for like over 2 months, so it's been like vacation. A sad vacation, but it's been nice to slept in for a while now.
So what's going to happen? Are you going to reopen?
I'm not sure. I have to have a drink.
I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, right. I don't know what's going to happen, unfortunately. I just did a great interview with New York One with Roger Clark, and we talked about small businesses and how they're being affected. But to be honest, I don't think enough has been done by the government and all that bollocks. So I don't know what to do. I don't know. But there'll be lots of opportunities, but I think it's going to be really crazy in the future for a while.
So I know that when you were open, though, you made donuts for a lot of movie premieres and television shows.
Yeah. The last one we did was Sonic the Hedgehog, which is a great movie. But yeah, we do movies for the premieres, like The Matrix when they did the anniversary. I made this big wall of Matrix donuts, and we handed them out to like take the blue donut or the green donut. I don't remember, a red donut, whatever it is from the movie. So yeah, we do lots of stuff like that. And then I love a good challenge, like Star Wars donuts, and then my Game of Thrones donuts were crazy. Everyone wanted those donuts; they were nuts. So I love a good theme. I even did a cherry pie donut.
Oh yeah.
And I launched it 2 days before I heard about all that, before everyone heard. So that donut didn't sell well.
Oh, well, that sounds fun. So, what are you doing to occupy your time during this vacation? You say?
Me and the wife were working on the Shortbread Society, which is a new shortbread thing that I'm doing, which is my grandmother's shortbread recipes. So we've been working on that, and then we've been doing some videos from home, which you can find on Instagram under Scottish Francis, with the banter, me and the wife. Basically, me and the wife arguing while I make food for her. That's the premise of the show.
So is that your TV personality? Is the arguing?
Yeah, I thought it was the best way. because I can't film myself, so I thought, well, I'll let her film it. She can say whatever the hell she wants, and then we'll see how it goes. Not all of them make it to online.
So, Francis, how did you come to our country? Why are you here?
I came just before 9/11. I came here years ago, and I came with the American dream. I was this little twink that wanted to. I don't know. I just came to have fun and enjoy myself. And I was like a ballet dancer, actor, so I was like, I will go to New York City, and then somehow I ended up becoming a nightlife photographer for Next magazine. Do you remember Next magazine?
Yeah, yeah.
I was a photographer, and I had my own page every week called Out and About. It was like page 6. So I did that for 6 years, and I just went out and wrote about it every week. And that's when I met Mel Sharon, made a movie about him. That Caswell was like, well, I can take photos, I can film a music video. And so, yeah, just, I evolve. I meet things, and I'm like, hey, a bowl, I can be a bowl.
I love your energy and your willingness to just jump at something and do it.
Yes.
We need that. And I think, when this, whatever we're going through is over, I think everybody's just going to have to sit back and go, okay, I got to do something. I think there's just that energy that's building up. But until that energy builds,
you grow up after all.
I haven't figured that out yet, but this is helping. This is really helping. It is amazing what it's encouraged us or forced us to do, is to find something, another outlet or some way to release the energy. So that's.
I do jest and joke about it's been like a vacation and everything, but I guess unless you're on the front lines in a hospital or something, you really truly don't know how much of a crisis it was. Like, we're all sitting on a couch, and it's hard to get bored, or it's easy to get bored of this whole situation. But in the hospitals, me and my partners, we've supplied 40,000 meals for all the hospitals, all the EMS services and everything in the area the last 2 months. So we sent all the last of our donut supplies out, and then my partners, they have a club with a kitchen, and they've just been feeding. So it's been really, really intense. So I haven't been sitting around doing nothing, but kind of, it feels like doing nothing compared to what the doctors have done,
Well, that's just great. And you're in Astoria, Queens, is that correct?
Astoria, Queens.
Yeah. So do you get out much? I mean, do you go out on the street and?
I have the dogs, so we have to walk the dogs. But I go out there again. It's not. I would say half and half wearing masks. I guess on the street, if you know how to socially distance, you can get away with not wearing a mask. But when you go into a shop, like I read some guy the other day, completely read him like for not wearing a mask in CVS, like the one place you should be, where the big pharmacy counter is. Like everyone's in masks except this one guy, and I'm like, this is where sick people come. Like, you're just crazy.
So tell me a little bit more about that shortbread show you're doing, and then you're going to make some shortbread for us.
Yes. So yeah, as I said, each day kind of depends if we argue too much and we can release the video or not. So each day we release a video all about a different dessert or something I'm making. And today I'm going to show you in your little oven there.
Yes.
Shortbread. And I'm sure the one you made, I'm going to make looks just like this, right?
Oh, I'm not sure. We'll check. It's still manipulating there in my oven there.
Still baking.
Yes.
Cool. All right, so we're going to do this really quickly. I'm going to.
Yes.
You ready for that?
Yes.
All right, so you can use a food processor, which is the best way to do it. Okay, so you get a food processor. I'm going to teach you how to do it just with your fingers or with a pie. This device. Have you seen one of these?
Yes.
All right, cool. So it's 4 ingredients. Very simple. You can add more ingredients if you like. It's
like what? Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. You have a question already?
Well, your extra ingredients. We'll get to that while it's baking. We'll
to eat whilst I talk. I got 2 sticks of butter. We have
2 sticks.
2 sticks of butter. 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of sugar, and a large giant pinch of salt. You want a lot of salt in there because it's really, really, really good to have those bubbles or those pockets of salt inside it. Okay. All right. So it'll look like this. Now you're going to put it into a food processor and you're going to blend it on the food processor and pulse it for like 30 seconds to 45 seconds. It's the best way to do it. All right. And you'll get like a sand-like texture. And that sand-like texture, you'll just pour into a pan like this, or a round pan if you want. It really doesn't matter. The whole process at the end is like that sugary shortbread. All right, so you'll pour it into a pan. Oh, sorry, we'll go back to this. If you don't have the food processor, you're going to do it with your fingers. All right, so you're gonna pick it up, and you're gonna push or pull or rub the butter between everything until it turns into the exact same texture, the sandy texture. You can also use this pie crust maker, and you're just you're pushing it and kneading it, and again you will get a sand-like texture. All right, so you're gonna pour it into your pan once you have it like that, and the one thing you don't want to do is do not press it down. Okay, you want to keep it nice and light and fluffy. You can give it a little shake when you pour it in. All right, and of course you've had your oven ready at 350 degrees.
Yes.
You will slap it. Now, I'm going to stop 1 second really quickly. If you want to add flavor to this, for example, like chocolate chips or yuzu rind or any kind of flavor that you want.
What was that, rinds, did you say?
Like a lemon rind.
Oh, okay.
A yuzu lemon is my favorite thing right now. You know, yuzu lemons. It's this Japanese lemon. It's really, really intense, really fancy from Japan. And I made one over here. I'll show you in a second. I actually made 3 different flavors to show you.
Oh.
Okay. So just before you put it in the pan, add your chocolate chips into here and ruffle it around. Or as I said, or peanut butter chips if you like that. I can't stand peanut butter. All right. And then, do you like peanut butter, Amber?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, nah. I don't like peanut butter at all. It was just absolutely disgusting. I don't even know what I'm talking about it. All right. You'll then put it in the oven for 20 minutes exactly. All right. Now, it may not look cooked, so be careful. Don't think that you should cook it longer. Okay. Even if it looks really pale on top, just go for it. Pull it out. Let it cool completely, and that's when you'll get this gorgeousness. All right.
Okay. Well, let's see how mine looks. I'm going into my my gay tag oven here, my magic gay tag oven here, and we'll see. Oh, what's Bucky Beaver doing in there? Beaver. Let's see. Oh, it looks delicious. See, my magic gay tag oven even cuts it and puts it on a plate. Oh,
that's amazing.
Oh, we say l'amazing, but yeah, we understand. So let me taste a little bit of it. Maybe a little more butter.
You ran out of butter, right?
Oh my God, that is so good. And so I made it so it's simple. All right. Oh my goodness.
I have the chocolate chip version right here.
Ooh.
So you have you can put chocolate chips, and also I have this one is the yuzu, so it has lots of lemon rind, and also a yuzu white chocolate in there. So you can go crazy with any flavors you like.
Now, are you saying uzu?
Yuzu. Y-U-Z-U. Yuzu.
Okay. I don't know that. I will have to.
There's so many types of lemon. You know, you have your common lemon, which we all use. But there's 60 or 100 types of lemon. There's one called Buddha hand, which I love, and it looks like this hand. It has all these fingers. So lemons are amazing.
Who knew there was so much to know about lemons?
Oh, me! I love lemons.
So, I'm disappointed you don't have a kilt on today.
No, but I have a funny story about a kilt if you want to hear it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we were on Masterchef, and Gordon Ramsay would always rib me about wearing kilts and wearing underwear because we're on the set and everything cooking, so I didn't want to wear anything. So for the final, I didn't wear underwear, and I didn't realize we were up on the gangway, which is they had the whole audience underneath the gangway, and I'm up above them all on a completely see-through thing, and everyone's staring at me. Gordon Ramsay's just pissing himself laughing. Anyway.
Yeah, you had no idea.
No idea. No idea.
Well, Francis, thank you so much. What are you going to do with all those pans that you have there?
The wife's going to eat them. I'm going to eat them too. This is 3 a.m. Just suddenly you find yourself naked in the kitchen nibbling at this. You'll see.
All right. So, Francis, relax. I'll be back with you. We've got a little quiz going on later on with our next guest. So hang in there. Thank you very much. So good to see you. Bye, buddy. All right. Oh, wasn't that fun? And trust me, it is delicious, and it's really simple to make. So we'll put that recipe up on my Facebook page. So look for that. So just a little break here before my next guest. Oh my gosh, wait for that. But I just want to say some congratulations and hello to a few of my good friends. they've been awarded with several things, and I'm very happy to know them. And first one is my producer and director there, Russell Dreyer. Hey, Russell.
Hi.
Russell.
How are you, Amber?
Hi, Russell's my producer and butt kicker, and he recently was awarded a Stevie Award. So tell us about your Stevie Award, Russell.
The Stevie Award was for a film I worked on for a Dutch publishing company, and the film is called Care Without Judgment, and it's about 3 nurses.
Ooh. So. Well, how cool. And what is the Stevie Award again?
The Stevie Award is an American Business Award.
Oh, and I read that it's the premier business award. That's what I read.
According to Stevie.
Well, congratulations, Russell. I'm happy that it's earned you the right to work with me. That's great.
Yes, I'm very honored.
Thank you, Russell. Another one of my friends has received another prestigious award. Let me see if I can get that up here. Yes, Matt Benedetto recently won a Webby Award. Now, a Webby Award is the leading international award honoring excellence on the internet. You don't recognize that? Well, he's Unnecessary Inventions. Yes. And he creates these different, he has a different way of looking at things. So he creates images that, or things that you don't think you need, but some of them are pretty cool. And so get on his website there and look for Unnecessary Inventions. And you're saying, oh, Amber, do you really know a Webby Award winner? Oh, yes, I do. That's us right there. Now, believe it, that was at a Mardi Gras celebration in Burlington, and I believe one of us had a few cocktails that afternoon. I'm not sure which one, perhaps both, but definitely one of us. But check out Unnecessary Inventions. Congratulations, Matt. That's well earned. And then I've got to give a shout out to my good cousin, my good friend, my good compatriot, Lucy Bell LeMay. Lucy Bell's at home right now eating a birthday cake for her 65th time. Yes! So happy birthday, Lucy Bell. We've had a lot of fun over the last 24 years. Well, see, she came to Beaver Pond as a foreign exchange student from Mississippi, but it took us a while to really accept her and work her into the act. So it's been like 24 years since she's been appearing with the House of LeMay. And so I just want to say happy birthday, Lucy Bell. Come on the show sometime. And for her birthday, Lucy Bell has asked people to donate to the TLC Sweet Souls Rescue. See, she only asked for $200, and her friends have gotten together for $445 so far. But why not go on her Facebook page? That's Lucy Bell LeMay, and make a donation, $5 to help these sweet souls. And they're doing that in honor of their dog Sadie, who they got Sadie from Sweet Souls, and Sadie passed away last week. So this is just extra special for Lucy Bell and all of the LeMay family. So if you could help out, that would be great. That's TLC Sweet Souls Rescue. Thank you. Happy birthday, Lucy Bell. Have a drink for me. All right, so speaking of award winners, my next guest is a Grammy Award winner. Who would have thought that Amber LeMay is going to have a Grammy Award winner on her show? But yes, I am. And, Vermont's a very special place. If you aren't from Vermont, or if you haven't been to Vermont, it's a very special place that attracts very interesting and unique people, present company included. And there's no one more interesting or unique than my next guest, Francois Clemens. Hey, Francois.
Well, hello, Amber. How wonderful to finally meet you.
Oh, my goodness. It's good to meet you, too. And you can't tell, but I'm in a caftan here in your honor, because I know that that's your signature attire as well.
Too. I love it.
So, Francois, I just want to give a brief history. So if people are trying to figure out who in the hell is that guy, you might recognize him as Officer Francois Clemens from Mr. Rodgers, but you're so much more than that, and you've done so much. So you were born in Alabama, is that correct?
Birmingham, Alabama, yes, 1945. I heard you say that your friend was 65 years old last week. I'm 75.
Oh my God, Francois, you look great. Now,
thank you.
You were born in Birmingham, Alabama.
Yes,
Is
indeed.
is Francois your birth name?
Well, yes, because I'm named after my grandfather. He was from New Orleans, Baton Rouge area.
Yeah.
And so it's French names are not uncommon in the family. Leon and Rochelle. There are a lot of French names.
Okay, very cool. It's a fun name. Yes.
Oh, I think so too. I do.
So I just got to tell you that you and I have something in common.
What's
you know what that? Well, one thing we have in common is that you were on the cover of 7 Days in January. What a great! That's a great picture, and I love the story. You know, it was written by one of my favorite authors or writers at 7 Days, Dan Bowles.
Yes,
isn't he a cutie?
You're supposed to take me to the movies.
Oh well. I go to the movies with Dan. He's my favorite ginger. Well, see, I've also been on the cover of 7 Days. Your picture's a little more flattering than mine, but that was for the League of Drag Queen Voters back, I think, like 5-6 years ago when we were having an election for mayor. And they put the League of Drag Queen Voters there on the cover of 7 Days. So we have something in common.
Yes, I want to tell you how wonderful you look tonight.
Oh, well, now you're just charming, aren't you?
No, look at you. I'm very happy that you dressed up because I love to dress up. Vermonters don't generally dress up.
Ain't that the truth?
Down.
But you got to sparkle, you got to shine, you got to stand out.
Sometimes I'm the only one there who's dressed up.
And you just go, come on, make an effort.
No, they don't.
So you went from Birmingham, Alabama to Youngstown, Ohio.
Steel Town.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Youngstown.
Been there?
Yeah, well, my altered ego Bob grew up on the other side of Ohio, but Youngstown, I'm familiar with Youngstown. And do you know who else was from Youngstown? Dean Martin. Dean Martin was a favorite son of Youngstown.
Oh, well, you know, yeah. I thought he was from the southern part of the state, but they have his picture up, you know.
Yeah.
And the fact that so I knew he was from Ohio, but I didn't know what part.
Yeah, to Dean Martin. That's what I say.
You see what I went and got my award.
Oh, is that your Grammy?
No, it's not. The Cleveland Orchestra has that Grammy, unfortunately, but this is the governor's award that I got in November.
Yeah, Excellence in Arts for the state of Vermont.
I was awarded the Artist of the Year award for excellence in the arts.
Oh, from Governor Scott. That is so great. That is so cool.
He's Republican.
But you know what? I'm not going to say anything bad about Governor Scott.
I may vote for him next time. I've never voted for a Republican.
You know, I think there's some other people who might think that too. But we'll have David Zuckerman come on here. And we'll talk about that too. He's running against Governor Scott. So, how does one go from Youngstown, Ohio, to Mr. Rodgers' neighborhood?
Well, I left Oberlin, where I did my undergraduate work, and got my bachelor's degree. I won a contest in Ohio from the Ohio National Association of Teachers of Singing, and I won their competition. They liked me very much, and the lady who was in charge suggested that I come to Pittsburgh because she was in charge of the music department, and I came there to sing for her because the opera department needed a tenor. Tenors can go anywhere. Lord have mercy, everywhere. I'm very happy to say. And so I wound up in Oberlin for my bachelor's, and I was experimenting in life, a young person, never been anywhere, basically. So when I left Youngstown, it was like going to a foreign country. The language that white people spoke, the food that they ate, their wholesome way, I call it wholesome way of dressing, you know, with the khaki pants and kind of preppy, that little preppy look, although there were lots of jeans around the place. And I liked the informality. So I wanted to go to a place where it seems like everybody had been stung by the music bug, even the kids taking degrees in chemistry or Russian or something else. They were also musicians. It was everywhere. The singers, the instrumentalists, conductors, And so I felt I had fallen into the right place. I was in heaven because it was not like that at home. In fact, I was forbidden to sing white people's music. My stepfather was a terror. And if I started singing something that I liked or I'd heard, stop singing that music in here, boy. That's terrible. Where do you hear that music? Guess what? He liked country western.
Nothing whiter.
I could never please him. Except I did sing one song, gonna find me a bluebird and let him sing me a song, 'cause I'm all through crying all day long. Do you know that?
No, I don't.
It's called Bluebird. Gonna find me. I can't think of the guy who, Arnett, I can't think of his name, but it was long, 45, 50 years ago. Are you anywhere near 60, 70 yet?
About halfway there.
Holding on by your nails. Let me well, good luck.
I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. So you were in Pittsburgh. You went to school at the Carnegie Mellon.
Yes, and I did an Easter service at the Third Presbyterian Church. It's one of the big churches in Pittsburgh. And Fred Rodgers was one of the founding supporters, of that church. And the choir was very, very well financially endowed. So I auditioned for the director of the choir. He hired me on the spot, and I got a wonderful job where they did major musical presentations throughout the whole year. The churches in Pittsburgh, there was a Rockefeller church, a Mellon church, a Heinz church. Fred Rodgers was one of the pillars at this church, and all of them had given literally millions of dollars to the music departments in those churches. So they were very, very well subsidized, and they always had St. Matthew Passion or St. John's Passion or Messiah or some other kind of Elijah. I did all of that at this church. It was wonderful. And while I was singing at Third Presbyterian, Fred came to a special Good Friday, I think it was afternoon concert that I did of All American Negro Spirituals. Ooh. And he was so deeply touched that I swear to you, when I finished singing, because you do, were you there when they crucified my Lord? Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble. Were you there when they crucified my Lord? That's for you.
Oh my God, that is Matthew Clausen's. That is awesome. That's beyond awesome. Thank you so much. That was beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
So
I hadn't planned to sing for yet, or wait to see what you wanted to hear.
Oh, you just hearing you talk is beautiful. So Fred Rodgers saw you and said, "Hey, I want you."
Yes, he said, "Please, let's have lunch." We went to a wonderful restaurant. You'd have been right at home because there were nothing but a lot of old ladies sitting around and knitting and doing it. That was their favorite place. And so I went with him, and we had the most wonderful, wonderful time. He was an introvert, so he never stopped listening, and I never stopped talking. We were match made in heaven. I talked his ear off. Well, after about an hour and a half of that, he said, "Now, come with me down to the station and let me show you around." And so we got in our separate cars. We drove to the station. And when we got there, he took me into the studio. And so for the first time, I saw the castle. I saw Daniel Tiger's house where he lived. I saw X the owl. He lived in a tree with Henrietta Pussycat. He lived on one side and she lived on the other side. And I saw Lady Elaine's museum go around. All of this stuff was totally new to me. I had seen something like that on television. And because of my age and my naivete and my lack of knowledge, I always got past it very fast. I did. I was children. You know, I was surfing. I never stopped when I saw that nonsense going on. So when he showed this to me, I said, where have I seen this stuff? Oh, I thought to myself, I didn't tell him I had passed this show up many times because it was so dull. It was so boring. I would never tell, you know, to hurt his feelings. After all, he was taking me to lunch. So when I saw all that stuff, it moved to another degree. He took out a little suitcase and opened it up. And there were these 8 or 9 puppets that he cherished. He took up the King Friday first, and he started talking to me with that voice. Hello, Francois. How are you today? I'm very happy to have you in the neighborhood. I said, what? What is this? Honestly, you know, and I tell people the truth. I grew up in the ghetto. I'm a ghetto boy. I'm very happy to be gone, and they're probably glad I'm gone, but I'm never going back, not to that. So there were guys who I saw in the corners. They were gamblers. They were drinkers. They were always into some scheme. They were messing around with somebody's wife or whatever, husband. And it wasn't always pleasant, but they were macho. They were real men. I didn't know who this was I was talking to. I said, what? And then he pulls out another one. So he has Queen Sarah on one hand and King Friday on the other, and he's doing both voices. Men where I grew up didn't play with puppets. I just thought that was a baby thing. You give it to the little ones, and they play with that, you know, they talk and stuff, but not grown men. So I was really taken aback by that. But I realized that he was serious. He was not teasing. He wasn't corny. He wasn't, there was nothing suspicious except a very, very, very honest dialogue with me for the first time with a puppet. And so I was awkward and I was stiff and I wasn't communicating very much, but I began to think about him. There was something fascinating about this man who didn't fit into the macho mold. So we went upstairs after that, boy, and I met everybody on the staff that was there. They were the best. They were wonderful. They were warm. They were professional. They welcomed me. And to make a long story short, he had a notion and an idea, I think, for me long before I realized that I had been tapped, you know, for destiny to do something. And so I looked around and thought, well, I don't have to come back to here again and hear him talking to those. That was very awkward for me in the beginning. And the way I got over it finally was I used to talk to him. If it was Henrietta or if it was X or Daniel, I would say, that's a part of Fred that's trying maybe to tell me something or trying to say something to the children that perhaps was more difficult for him to say as a regular man. So he used the puppets as a tool, and they communicated and talked about things that maybe would be troubling for young kids, like going to the bathroom, being separated from their parents, what do they eat, how do they fix their food, what are they going to wear. He did all these things with the puppets, and then the kids could imitate and identify. What they said, Daniel says in one of the songs that was he a mistake? You know, children, I asked myself that question because I was having such a terrible time with my parents. Am I a mistake? Am I in the wrong place? Why am I here? And there's a whole metaphysical thing about that we don't have time to go into. But there I was, and my parents didn't seem to cherish me and take ownership of there was a unique quality that I had that was very gentle, very sweet, and my way of thinking, it was very feminine. And they had a rough time with that. So Fred, through the periods of time of getting to know him, said, who is that? What's in there? Who's Little Buttercup? That was my nickname, Little Buttercup. So we talked about Little Buttercup, and he had been bending over backwards, not facing anybody, turned his back. And when Fred started talking to me, Little Buttercup turned around. And during the course, you know, it's a symbolism I'm using, how my life was. And I looked at him, and it was the first time I really me, who I am, looked out at the world, and I wasn't afraid that I was going to be told, go back in there and be gay. You're not going to bring that stuff out here, and go be a man. Go play football. Go play ice hockey up here. I wanted to stay inside. You know, I used to write little poems for myself, or I would help my mother in the kitchen if she were washing dishes or she was ironing, and she would, I would pretend like this that I was ironing, and I said, "Well, Lord, have mercy," and I pretend I was folding something.
We did that at the laundromat at the hot damn trailer park. Yes.
Well, that's what my mother used to do. I had no idea what I was doing, to be honest. I just loved being with my mother in those days. And so everything she did, I wanted to do.
So you were on Mr. Rodgers, and you were the first person of color to be featured on a national children's show.
On a regular basis.
And so that was during the 60s. You started in the 60s.
68.
So there was a lot of racial tension going on in the country at the time.
All over the place.
So was that, did you feel that was your statement? That's how you were fighting it, or you were presenting the cause? Or?
Well, to be honest, I think that's what it became. I became more aware. I have to tell you, I was a little dumb, a little naive, and I was not totally aware of what was happening in the North. Sometimes if something happened, I assumed that was an exception. I didn't quite realize how embedded it was in the northern institutions as much as in the South. The only difference, I told them, I think in my book somewhere, is that up north they take the signs down. It says colored only, white only. They took the signs down, but it's the same amount of racial prejudice. I'm very sorry that that's true, but it is. It's de facto, I call it, de facto, or some kind of Jim Crow laws that were not written down, but it's the way people practice. There were places in Youngstown, Ohio, that I couldn't go, and I found out the hard way by being called the N-word and told to get the F out. Well, I grew up pretty fast because those guys were angry and bitter and resentful, and they had a system that I did not belong to. I was not a part of it. And I knew white people who were very kind to me, tremendously loving and humane. So to see the two extremes, I realized when I was pretty young, I said, you can't tell what they're going to do until they show you. So you can't judge negatively. And that was how I resolved it with myself.
Well, and Francois, I could talk to you for hours, or I could listen to you for hours, I should say.
You tired of me already? You want me to take my award and go home?
No, I do want to talk. Your book is out. We showed the cover of your book. You have your memoirs out, and I understand there's like 4 others in the making because you have so much material to cover. You know? So,
who told you that?
Oh, I've got my sources. I've got my sources.
Quite.
And how long have you been in Vermont?
I came in 2017. In 2016, they gave me an honorary doctorate here at Middlebury College. And then the president, John McCardle, asked me to stay. Is there a way that you can stay with us? And frankly, he worked it out. I fashioned the things that I would be doing here on campus. And we signed a tentative agreement on a piece of paper in his office. It was very cute and very suave because he tricked me. He tricked me into coming into his office and then talking about all that stuff and what I'd like to do. And he said, well, let's do some of that. Let's sign a promissory note. That's what he called it. He was such a gentleman. I really mean that. I didn't want to say no to him. I said, well, let's see if we can work something out. And it was basically him at first. Then I got to know the kids, and they were very, very powerful inside of me because, you've heard the phrase, poor little rich kids. There were so many kids who needed love and affection, time, nurturing, and mentoring, as I called it. And I found myself mentoring without intentionally. There were needs that they had that I saw, that I felt. And so I embraced them with their problems and tried to help them. Well, a lot of times it involved having someone to care, someone who would talk to them and listen. Listening was very, very, very important.
Well, sir, thank you so much. I hate to put you on the spot. Could you treat us to another song?
Oh, I would love to. Me. He's got the whole world in his hand. He's got the whole round the world right In his hand, he's got the whole world. In his hand, he's got the whole world in his hand. He's got the wind and the rain, Lord. In his hand, he's got the wind and the rain, right? In his hand, he's got the wind and the rain, Lord. In his hand, he's got the whole world in his hand. He's got that tiny little baby right in his hand. He's got the sweet little child, y'all. In his hand, he's got that tiny little baby right up in his hand. He's got the whole world in his hand. He's got the up and the down, y'all, in his hand. He's got the up and the down right up in his hand. He's got the up and the down right up in his hand. He's got the whole world in his hand. He's got you and me, Lord, in his hand. He's got you and me right up in his hand. He's got you and me, Lord, in his hand. He's got the whole world in his
Oh, Francois, you're a gift. You are a gift.
Thank you so much.
Oh, we will talk more. We will get to back. We will hook up.
Okay, I look forward.
Ooh, I like the sparkle in your eye. So I'm going to bring back our other guest, Scottish Francois Clemens. Let's see. Yes, and so we're going to have a little quiz here, and it's called WTF, Who's That Fran? All right, yes. And so I've got some questions about people whose first name begins with F-R-A-N. All right, who's that Fran? So what we'll do is first we'll ask Officer Clemens here the first question. And we'll see how he does, all right? So this famous Francis would be 105 years old if he was alive today. Born in Hoboken, New Jersey, he went to be an American singer, actor, and producer who was one of the most popular and influential musical artists in the 20th century. Who was this Fran?
First thing that came to my mind was Frank Sinatra.
Bingo! Ding, 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 ding! Yes!
Yes.
All right, now on to you, Scottish Francis.
I didn't even think of that, by the way.
This famous Francois was a French statesman who served as president of France from 1981 to 1995, the longest time in office in the history of France. Who is this Fran? Scottish? You lived in France.
I know. I lived in Paris. It's Francois something. I don't know.
Officer Clemens.
It was de Gaulle.
His name was Charles.
Charles de Gaulle. I knew
I thought it was Francois de Gaulle.
Francois Mitterrand. To both of you.
Oh, come on.
Okay,
right.
we'll go to the Officer Francis for this one. This famous character became a celebrity during the 1950s as the star of 7 popular Universal International film comedies. There's no truth to the rumor that this character sired Mr. Ed. Who is this Fran?
In the 50s.
Sired Mr. Ed, so it's a character. See if any of my audience members know.
Fran, Kukla, Olive, and
oh, that would have been a good one too. Kukla, Fran, and Olive. But this is Francis the Mule.
Oh, the talking mule.
The talking mule.
Yes. Oh boy, my brain.
All right.
On yet.
All right. So, Scottish. This famous Francine is an American actress, comedian, writer, and activist. She is best known for her role on TV with the last name of Fine. What is this Fran's name?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Oh, she has this obnoxious laugh.
Oh, the nanny, so it'd be Francine McPhee. Is that her name?
Drescher, Fran Drescher.
Ah,
And, and I hear there's going to be a musical about the nanny.
yes. Yep.
All right, back to you, officer.
All right, one more.
This famous Frank was an American character actor, impressionist, and comedian, maybe best known for being the Riddler on the TV show Batman.
Oh, Lord.
He was born and buried in Pittsburgh.
Oh, I feel worse. I don't know.
Frank Gorshin. He was on many shows. Yes. I didn't think Scottish would know that one. All right. Now this is for either one of you. All right. 2 U.S. presidents had the first name Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
Can you name the one that isn't a Roosevelt?
Buchanan? Franklin? Frank.
No, that was James. He was gay. It was Franklin Pierce. He was the 14th president.
Oh,
and I Googled, what is Franklin Pierce famous for? And it said, Franklin Pierce is known for being a handsome young president. That's enough for me. Guys, I just want to say thank you so much. Scottish Francis, good luck with your your things that you made for us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So what was that, Francois?
Donuts.
Oh,
yes.
Check them up. You guys need to hook up.
Donut day in 2 weeks, so maybe I'll have something.
You make a delivery to Vermont?
No, but I do want to come to Vermont.
Please do. Please come back. Thank you guys very much. Mwah. Thank you. You've been a gem. Thank you. Wow. that was a lot of fun. Whew. Just 2 diverse people, but so much fun and so much energy. That's what Amber's Alive is all about, is bringing those type of people together. Oh my goodness. I guess someone else wants to talk to Amber, and it is Rocco's back. Rocco Zamboni.
Hey. How you doing, Amber?
Hey, what's up with you tonight, Rocco? What you got?
Playing with trolley.
Oh, yeah?
You know, it's not working.
Clang, clang?
What the? You know, sometimes you prepare stuff, sometimes it doesn't work. What are you going to do?
I wouldn't have any idea about that.
Hey. All right.
Oh, now, is that yours from your childhood?
No. It's mine from now.
Oh.
You don't got to be a kid to have fun, do you?
No, that's true. That's true.
It is true. So what's happening? I saw the show. You were fantastic. I loved Rocco Clemmons, Scottish Francis. I want to eat those donuts now.
Oh, yes.
Not
yes. So do you have a story tonight, Rocco? Do you have anything to share with us?
Well, like many of people, I grew up watching Mr. Rodgers Neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And we would play Mr. Rodgers Neighborhood at my house. The only difference is we changed it a little bit. We made it Mr. Hefner's Neighborhood. You know,
that's different.
You'd put on your robe, walk around. You got your bunnies. Granted, there were stuffed bunnies back then, but, you know, bunnies nonetheless. And then you go take a bath in the grotto. So it was fun. We had a good time. But Mr. Rodgers' Neighborhood was fantastic. You know what I liked? I liked the episode where he came in singing a song and took off his sweater and put on a red sweater. Fantastic. And he said, "Won't you be my neighbor?" You can't beat that. You know what I'm saying? He wants to be a neighbor. And I said, yeah, you could be my neighbor. Come on over. And he never did.
It never did.
He never actually came over. So I had to watch him on TV.
Yeah.
So, you know, I heard he was in Pittsburgh. I wasn't going there.
Are there any other memories of Mr. Rodgers that you have?
No.
No.
I don't remember much. No, it was great. I used to, you know, when he'd do the story time and the puppets and stuff, very influential. I learned a lot as a kid. I don't know what I learned now because I forgot it all, I think. But, you know, then.
But it's there somewhere.
Somewhere. It's like going to kindergarten. You know, you learn something, but you don't know what.
So, Rocco, did you go to the beach today? The beaches are open in New York.
No, I'm not going to the beach.
Why not?
It's too dangerous. You got a bunch of lunatics out there who think they're not going to get sick. Let me tell you, I could look at bikini pictures online safely. You know, I just want to say something. I bet even Mr. Rodgers himself would say, you know, Donald Trump's a dick. Like that. I'm assuming that's what he'd say.
In his own way, I'm sure he would. We would hope. We would hope.
That was awesome. We had Officer Clemens on. That's fantastic. And then,
hey, I'm Amber LeMay. You know,
Amber LeMay not, whatever.
Usually May.
Usually
Rocco,
May. That's what I'm hearing.
Rocco, thank you very much for stopping by.
Oh,
you have a good. You have a good rest of your holiday weekend.
Oh yeah, happy Veterans Day to all you veterans out there. Because
it's for dead veterans, but yeah, that's the sentimentality is there.
Memorial Day.
Yes.
That's different.
That's different.
They paid the price. Oh shit.
Yes, they did. Thank you very much, Rocco. You have a good week. See you next week.
You too, Amber. Good seeing you again.
Nice seeing you. Yes, and have a pleasant Memorial Day weekend, what's left of it. If you go out, whether it's at the beach or downtown shopping, whatever, wear a mask, please. Just please. All right. Well, I want to thank my guest, Francislegge, the Scottish chef. Oh, my God. Oh, delicious. Get that recipe and make those. Officer Clemens, Francois Clemens, what a delightful man. What a delightful person. Thank you so much. My good friend Russell Dreyer, the producer, the award-winning producer and butt kicker, thank you very much for making this happen. The rest of you, come check us out on our YouTube channel. If you've missed some past episodes, tell your friends, share everything you can, all right? Thank you very much. So have a good week. I'm out of here. Bye-bye.